Have you noticed all of the recent articles that have come out about the Bears not needing an edge rusher? I think it's because Matt Eberflus and Ryan Poles are starting to feel the heat. There are a lot of rumblings and grumblings that the Bears defense could potentially hold the Chicago Bears back from getting where they want to go, which is either making the playoffs or being on the cusp. And so, usually, when this happens, when they start hearing the rumblings and the grumblings, they'll start feeding stories to traditional media outlets. So, if we look at this, all of a sudden, the Chicago Tribune thinks that maybe the answers for the defensive end is in house. Then we've got Sports Illustrated, NBC Sports Chicago, and then Sports Mockery essentially just copy and paste. But what I think is happening is Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus are feeling the pressure, and they don't have a good option. They don't have a good answer to the defensive end issue. It was one of the big issues the entire offseason, and unfortunately, they didn't, in my opinion, do enough to address it. And so instead of going out and maybe making a trade or signing somebody off the street, they're going to start feeding and running stories out to the media to persuade public opinion. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. Also, you can see that some people are saying, The Ringer, for example, are calling out a little bit of shortcomings against Caleb Williams. I think that is to be expected. We're essentially, 4 or 5 days in to training camp. The defense is always going to have an advantage in the very beginning because they can essentially just react to what's going on. They can dictate a little bit. The offense, again, has to understand the cadence. They have to understand the play. They have to read the defense, essentially. They've got to get all 11 guys essentially moving in the right direction. But I think the bigger issue is Ryan Poles, Matt Eberflus are hearing regular people like you and me start to talk about the edge rusher is going to hold us back. Now, we've heard a whole bunch of reports that there's a different vibe coming out of Halas Hall. We've heard that the guys are excited and upbeat, but they're also looking around and saying the defensive line outside of Montez Sweat isn't as good as it could be. And while there are bodies like Javon Dexter who could help out, until he's proven, it's a problem. And so you can see here that there's a little bit of article, again, being fed, in my opinion, by either agents or being fed directly by members of the Bears organization themselves, trying to get you to believe that a problem that has been a problem all of last year and was not really addressed this year has automatically, magically solved itself. Okay, we're probably going to wind up leaning on an undrafted rookie free agent. There's also journeyman defensive ends that have made their way over to Halas Hall. I believe it is going to be an issue this entire year. Let me know what your thoughts are. We'll see what happens. Obviously, we'll know more as game number 1 gets closer to kickoff. We'll know more in training camp, and when they start playing those preseason games, you'll be able to look and see where the deficiencies are. But I think this is a media push that is pushed and driven by the members of Halas Hall. Be sure to like, comment, follow, share, and subscribe to the Bear Claw podcast, and we'll see you in the next video.